Hello, everyone. My name is Carl Brown, and I am going to be presenting the final project for the semester today. And the focus of my project is going to be the company that I previously worked for, Allied Universal, as an account manager. And I am going to try to delve a little bit into the inner workings of what we do to keep the different positions that we have at our client site fully staffed. Uh, There are about 84 personnel, and we have about 18 different positions at the site that we have to keep staffed because every post has to be open at all times. It's a 24/7 operation. And these positions range from a requirement for a lot of technical skill to those down to having no technical skill at all because you'll never touch a piece of technology the entire time you work there. Um, there are definitely some internal considerations that affect the availability of staff at the site. Of course, we went through the pandemic that caused our staff to fluctuate, much the same as a lot of other places, I'm sure. And also, just the nature of the private security industry, there's a lot of turnaround. Um, the position that I'm really going to focus on the most is going to be the Security Operations Center, which is probably the most technical position that we have on the site. And it's the brain of their entire security team, and all access through exterior doors, parking garages, parking lots, they all get processed through the SOC. And it's one of the more difficult positions to keep staff due to the level of technical expertise, knowledge of protocols, and knowledge of the distribution lists that you have to maintain. And although turnover at pretty much any other post we have can be pretty easily fixed, at this position, it's disastrous if that position becomes unmanned for any reason. Um, the way that we go about staffing this position is that we keep an eye out for candidates who show some level of technical expertise, and we inquire, whether or not they want to move up. And if there aren't any on site, then we compose a job requisition to actively seek someone with the necessary technical base for us to be able to train. And the training commences sort of like an internship, in which we will put the candidate with the veteran SOC operator once the candidate has been chosen, and they'll learn pretty much hands on all of the things they need for this position. The candidate who is chosen, of course, is going to need the ability to work independently under pressure because it's a very fast paced environment, and they need to be able to make the correct decisions to respond appropriately to the security related situations that can arise on the site. Uh, as I stated previously, if we can't locate a suitable candidate, we go to recruiting. And of course, we want to make sure that anyone who we are recruiting knows that they're going to be coming to work for the best company around there. And we want them to see from the beginning that we are the company they should choose to work for. We provide the training and tools for those who seek advancement to rise quickly in the company. We definitely want to put out the message to come and join our team and help us take the next steps in our continuous pursuit to be both the best and the biggest security company out there. Um, I would definitely opt to use realist job previews because I would want to attract only the best possible candidates for the position, and I would gladly sacrifice the quantity of applicants in order to increase the quality of those who are applying. And I also believe that by choosing the best possible candidates, I would be able to decrease the amount of turnover that the company could experience down the line. There are some regulatory issues that also come into play. The major regulatory issue that usually knocks most people out of the running are the state licensing processes, which includes a thorough background check. I've been surprised on a lot of occasions by some of the more appropriate seeming candidates not being able to pass the state's checks in their criminal histories. So it is vitally important for the individual applying to be honest about whether or not they believe there's anything in their history that could take them out of the running. In the selection phase of the process for the screening, we will be using applications and resumes. This would also allow us to get a feel for the previous work history and determine whether it's applicable to the SOC position. For the more technical jobs such as this one, I would utilize the multiple cutoff approach. Achieving the minimal score will provide a baseline to showcase just how much additional training we'll need for the candidate to be successful at the position. Compensatory approaches suffice for the more non-technical positions that are being applied to, but definitely not for the SOC. In order to be able to really get a feel for the person, we'd also conduct interviews and would opt for unstructured interviews to hopefully get truer responses and not canned responses to the questions that I would be asking. And of course, once the candidate's selected, we move into onboarding, and we definitely want to make sure that the 4Cs are incorporated. And of course, as we have learned during the course, the 4Cs are compliance, clarification, culture, and connection. And of course, during our onboarding process, we definitely want to indoctrinate the candidate into the company philosophy and our organizational culture, which is vitally important. During the initial training period, we would also incorporate the second C, which is clarification. This is where we want to make it clear, you're a part of something. We don't want to leave any doubts as to what's expected of you and the consequences of failure to meet or preferably exceed the expectations that we have. During the on-the-job training, we'll also make sure that they are immersed in the third C, which is culture. And there are a lot of norms and cultures that are unique to organizations. They want to make sure that our candidate fits in with what we're trying to accomplish. And of course, we move into the last C, which is that of connection. And from the initial indoctrination of orientation and throughout their career with us, we want to make sure that they are continually aware that they are part of something. And if you're wearing our uniform, you're representing us. And of course, we want to make sure that, we are keeping the internal equity. And the way to do that is to conduct audits internally. And those will include comparisons of wages and benefits, levels of education and experience, and training to justify having the different pay rates that we have, because in some cases, from a base guard to the more technical guards, those differences in pay are pretty substantial. And we want to be sure to head off any conflicts or disputes by, remaining transparent with the employees and ensure that everyone understands how their pay rates are determined from the outset. And based on the research into rates of pay for the Security Operations Center position, our company has the second highest rate of pay for the SOC, but one of our competitors pays $4 more. So in the future, some adjustments to the pay rate should be considered. And when it comes to benefits, I believe that we have some of the best, which should also bolster the compensation package that we offer. And need to also incorporate a career management process, and ladders, I believe, are one of the best, and those are what we'll utilize in order to make sure that everyone stays engaged in the workplace and know that they are actually making moves within the company, because we need to be able to retain the talent that we have. So we want to make sure that our corporate environment encompasses the needs of our employees so that they stay engaged and that is how we're going to head off turnover. Thank you for your time.